Okay. All right. Assalamu alaikum. This is Pasha, the author of The Double Cross. Continuing with my theme from the last time I spoke with you regarding a true account of our history, in hopes that you would then understand why the white man here in America has banned it being taught to you in schools. You do know that the person outlawing the teaching of black history and woke and banning books teaching you the true history in libraries throughout the country. If you do it or have, you see, for them, the men and women responsible of the world, they do not want to own it. In the Florida legislature, they wrote into law that our nation that experienced chattel slavery were taught life skills. It was a good thing for us. So let me inform you of what really happened. The Christian, the Catholic, and the Protestant churches, whose origins are all European, combined in laying the foundation for all the racist perceptions you see against our people today. They made it God's will, a divine decree, to treat us the way we were treated and still are being treated. Under polygenism, eugenics, and many other gene experiments with fraudulent results, the idea, the concept was created to justify that all, as good Christians, Catholics, and prophets of God, seeing barbarians disguised as lambs of our nation, kidnapping them from their homes, putting them in heavy chains, taking them to ships, then boating them down to the floor for months. We were sparsely fed and made to lay in our own excrement. Can you imagine the fear and terror to hear their barbaric consciousness, to clear their barbaric consciousness, and to maintain that act for loving God and obeying His commandments? They created Ham's curse of all black people, who himself was black. He was born and raised on the continent of black people, and he fathered black children. You see how simple and cartoon-like their thinking is? Their entire black race cursed because Ham seen his father drunk and naked. He didn't murder his father. He just seen him naked. And that justified the murder, rape, kidnapping, and enslavement of all black people. By coincidence, the same white people that rewrote the Bible narrative to benefit themselves is the ones making this claim. Too funny. This is the double cross. In 1684, a Frenchman by the name of Post Arnier, the anthropological author of racism against blacks in France, divided all humans on earth into 4 main races, which is moronic because Europeans had just stumbled off of their continent and had just stumbled onto other civilizations they had never seen nor known before. Totally more than 4, for sure. For over 200 years, ignorant Europeans believed that they were descendants of Egyptians because of the lies convincing them and the world that the children of Israel enslaved in Egypt were white people, the chosen people. So let me make it simple. Let's say you, your parents, and your 10 brothers are green, and you go into a city filled with nothing but blue people. You and your 10 brothers eventually marry blue women and have children by them. Your children then grow up and marry blue people and have children also. And those children grow up and marry mixed blue-green. All for over 400 years. So what do you think after all those mixings for over 400 years as 11 green people? That's all they were. 11 green people and a mother and a father. What happened to those green people? They does not exist anymore. They have become absorbed by the abundance of the blue. But the barbarians were not far off, because even though the cold, desolate climate of the Caucasus Mountains is where they live, and it changed of their skin and made them barbaric, they are descendants of the black man. Every single nation on this earth is. It is not. Ironically, today, they are dreamed up and dreamed of. But they will never find it, because the beginning of humankind, no matter where you look or begin your search, starts with the black man. There are no pure races. Only the black is pure. Let me say that again. Only the black is pure. It is the seed, the beginning. In 1538, Pope Sublime Duet, a bull proclaiming that Native Americans could receive the Catholic faith and sacraments. This is where Mary, Mother Earth, and the fertility goddess live. Then Bartholomew de las Casas, the Catholic Church, not use Native Americans as free labor on the new European plantations in the Americas, that Africans should be brought in. Thus began the transatlantic slave trade. French scientists immediately devoted their efforts to crossbreeding animals to prove that because a black man could procreate with a white woman, it did not mean that they were human. Thus, the ability to procreate could not be used. Frenchman Johann Fabricus was the first to claim that blacks did not come from two humans, but that they were descendants from a crossbreed between a human and an ape. The start of the monkey thing. All this bullshit so that they could do two things. One, steal and take everything from us. Everything. Wealth, history, lives, land, culture, and accomplishments. They needed to ease their conscience. They needed to justify in their own minds treating kings, queens, princes, and princes as a beautiful, unselfish, forgiving, loving, intelligent people worse than any animal. I've told you several times that white people, Europeans, are not Semitic. Now let me inform you of how they were initially named this. In 1829, the French grave robber titled anthropologist F.W. Edwards bestowed the term Semitic on those today known as Jews. The Jews didn't name themselves. A Frenchman did this, and you could check this. In 1829, F.W. Edwards bestowed the term Semitic on those that we know as Jews today, and knowing its meaning. He felt that because people were racially different, from other Europeans that they must belong to a different race that anthropologists had yet to identify. Why? Because they were looking in the wrong place. They were trying to stitch a history together for these people in Europe instead of the home of the original Semitic people, Akabu land, renamed Africa, which they never visited. We came to them. The name doesn't fit because, as I said, Europeans not. Someone please pass this on to Nick Cannon, Kanye West, and the rest of our people that made statements about the Jews uninformed and had to eat their words. Edwards then sent a letter to Ahmadi Theory suggesting that European Jewish people were Semites, descendants of the Semitic people that came to occupy the Middle East as told in the Bible narrative. Descendants of Noah's son, Shem. Again, see how ignorant these people are. Being Semitic is a inherited culture. The people who are Semitic, Afro-Asiatic people. It is an inherited culture dialect, not a person. Theory, a Jew, made the letter public stating that anthropologists had discovered and identified the Eastern European Jews as Semites, which was a lie and still is as it continues to this very day. The Messiah was a Hebrew. He was born on the continent of Africa. He was not a Greek. The name Jesus is a Greek title. Joseph, the Messiah, and his mother would go to Egypt to hide from King Herod, who wanted to kill the Messiah. Now, how could three white people, Europeans, that did not speak the language of the Egyptians, hide there and not be discovered, living among a nation full of nothing but black people? They couldn't. Not only that, but the Messiah lived among the high priest in Egypt. He was trained and taught the mysteries until he was 30 years old. Then he suddenly appeared in Judah and said, "Who will be my helpers?" He then told his disciples, "The knowledge of the secrets of heaven are for you, but not for them." And he spoke only in parables because he wanted to confuse the idiots. This should inform all of you that are listening that there is so much more that you are not even. And let you know that by not knowing and by not trying to know, you have boxed yourself in. And through that ignorance, that not knowing, you have been taken advantage of, given an idol to worship as the Son of God. I mean, really, how stupid is that? An idol? Especially after reading in all four Gospels, the Messiah says, "My Father and your Father." And he left us with the Lord's Prayer that begins with, "Our Father who art in heaven." Not in three in one. Not Father, Son, Holy Ghost. This is the double cross. North America.